Well, good evening, my fan. Well, it could be early. It could be wherever you're listening. It could be a different time. But for us, it's good evening, and welcome to Chasing Labels, and the kind of the thing we wait for all year, man. The favorite releases of the year. In this case, the year 2025. We're already a couple weeks into 2026, man. I'm gonna talk like Andrew. God, it just went by so fast. It's like 2025 just feels like 2 years ago. I don't know. What do you think, Andrew?
Well, I was telling you yesterday that I'm still almost stuck in 2025 mode because I
Yeah.
feel like there's still so much like carryover, leftover, hangover
Oh
from the
yeah.
previous year, especially when it comes to physical media. We're still catching up on compiling just the year that was for 2025, which is kind of what this video is
We
somewhat about, but also it's not overly comprehensive. It's more looser than that. But just going back and looking at 2025, it was a heck of a year for releases, and it's also kind of a blur because it's
well,
just so much.
it is a blur. I know for me, this was maybe one of the first years where I felt like I wouldn't say I was out of the loop, but I was definitely paying a lot less attention to the normal everyday news, like what you do, which is for the show, like just paying attention to it all the time. This was the first full year I felt like I was like kind of more like Steven, like, and this is how, and this isn't because I'm trying to love physical media less. It's just that it's my process of trying to not, buy so much because I have to be an adult, at this point in my life and not spend all my extra money on physical media.
Yeah, and the
So, yeah.
temptation to get everything it's not always there. I guess depending on your collector, but for me, it's always there. And also, if you're not in tune with everything that's going on, it can be overwhelming in
It can
terms
be
of like
overwhelming. Sure.
what's all the everything that's coming out, what's
Yeah.
going to be coming out. I mean, as for 2026, they're already announcing things that are coming out in April. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So it's like the year. It's you already have a damn near half a year's worth of releases announced already, and we're not even 3 weeks into January.
Yeah.
So the news comes fast and furious, and like you're saying, you know, you also you can't buy everything.
Yeah,
I
and I know that, but I have unfortunately, as a collector, I do have sometimes I have an impulsive buying problem. So
mm,
I try to my best way to navigate that is to just ignore as much of it as I can, and I'm aware of I'm aware enough to know what I want to keep up with, and yeah, I mean, but I'm still here. I still got 10 movies to talk about, 10 releases in my nifty.
question: were we supposed to keep it to 10? Because I have way more than that.
Well, I can tell you that 10 is, I think, standard. Now, if how many do you have? Because
I
I'm
got
gonna.
like a few from every label, so I may have
Okay,
to
so
I
you're
may
gonna
have
have
to
to cut a lot.
compromise. I may have to compress it down.
Well,
Um,
this is what I'll say. How many is it?
a lot.
What did you
Yeah.
think this was?
But I was going full tilt boogie. I didn't.
Yeah, no,
I
no.
don't break for nobody.
We didn't say present every movie you bought in 20.
No, I did not. No, we did not. But it's so I didn't compile it to 10, which would have made my decision making much easier. By the way.
Well, this is what I'll say.
But if you want me to do just 10, I can just pick like one from like one or two from
Yes,
each company and stuff
please,
like that.
please, because I can't be here all night.
I know.
This isn't chasing
I'm
labels
used to
standard.
I'm used to 4 hours, so like I guess I prepared for 4 hours. you know,
No, I want this to be a digestible for people.
digestible. So I will pick and choose here
Yes,
and
please.
there. I got it. Okay.
Now this is the way I see it is a list of 10, and I would say the last one we do is our favorite.
Makes
That,
sense. That's
that's
what I was planning on doing anyway.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, we'll just go back and forth, and we're just gonna bring up you know, some of our favorite releases from last year. Now, for me, as I said, like up front, like I wasn't as crazy in the loop buying stuff as frequently as I used to. So most of what I got in here are things that I bought. And I know Andrew had talked when we talked about doing this, you said, well, I want to bring up some things that I didn't buy. And I'm like, I mean, I guess, but like,
Yeah, because I was thinking just to give people kind of recommendation and suggestions, because there are some like really, really good releases that, neither of us have
yeah, that we
and
didn't get
we may
around to.
get in the
Sure.
future.
Sure. Well, let's start there. I want you to if there's some ones that you want to mention
Yeah, let me see
that
what I
are not
mentioned
bought,
to
please.
you
We'll start there.
previously, because we're keeping it typically limited to boutique. But there are, of course, like, some mainstream stuff that we really don't get into. That Nightmare on Elm Street 4K collection is one that everybody just went bananas over and tried to buy. The steelbooks are now going for hundreds of dollars on eBay. But like the regular release is still available, and people were waiting for that for many, many years. Of course, there was another Shawscope set. There's now
Yeah.
4 volumes of the Shawscope set
I
from
will be
Arrow.
getting that eventually for sure.
Yeah, and right now, Arrow stuff is 50% off at Barnes & Noble as of this video, and I think for the rest of the month. So you got some time if you're watching it within January of 2026, you can still get that box set probably for 50% off. But there's some other ones that I was thinking of specifically. The Curse of Frankenstein from Hammer. Hammer Films had a big revival last year, and they
Yeah.
put out a bunch of big old like collector's edition box sets that were like really nice and deluxe, kind of taking a page from Second Sight, which we'll talk about.
Yeah.
Um, and they had some of those releases, and then had like some like lesser deluxe releases, and they had a really good year, and they're having even a bigger this year. They just announced like a whole like graphic that had like a bunch of xed out or question marks of things they're gonna release. So that's a nice one. Let's see. Oh, The Beyond from Grindhouse releasing. That was a big one for people. The Lucio Fulci film. That one, it was like a 6-disc set.
Yeah.
It was massive, and yeah. So those were a few that I wanted to point out. So many other things that I didn't get a chance
Sure.
to get my
Yeah.
hands on. But let's start off. Do you want to go first?
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
because you're more prepared than I am. Well, I'm over prepared, I guess.
You're over prepared. You just got to decide which one and you want to pick. You want to talk first. So yeah, I'm just gonna kind of go. My last one, like I said, will be my favorite of the year. So these are all kind of random. Like I said, I got my nifty Chasing Labels tote bag with
Nice.
my group of films in here.
That is available on our Etsy store
It
if
is.
you so choose to want
It
one.
is it's very well made. Strong. This is heavy and it's holding it just fine. Goes all the way around like that. Yes. So, all right, the first one I'm gonna pull here. Now, some of what my kind of criteria was like for me, like I get most excited about the releases that I bought that were blind buys. That ended up being very successful blind buys for me, and I'm like, dude, this is one that stuck in my head for the whole year or for part of it, it's still in my mind. And I had to put this one on here because it turned me around a little bit on a filmmaker that I never really cared much for as much, and that's Stanley Kubrick's Eyes Wide Shut.
Mm.
And it looks like Andrew probably has that as well, right near him.
Yeah, I was going to show it off as well. So
yes,
reading my mind.
Yes, definitely on my list. Like I said, I know I'm one of the weird people that doesn't worship at the altar of Kubrick, but this film got me kind of back interested in wanting to go. I'm going to go back into his filmography for sure sometime in the near future and kind of revisit some of the films that I didn't care for in his filmography. So, but this was great. I know some people had some issues with the transfer. I think it looked great. And some good features on here. And yeah, I mean, I just the film itself is just what I was kind of just encaps.
Yeah, we did do a whole review of that release.
Yes, we did.
That is up here on the channel if you want to go back and take a look at that. Yeah, I was going to talk about that anyway, but
you sure you were? You sure?
Yeah, definitely. Because I have stacks of criteria next to me.
But you know what? Some of the ones that I would, I'm just going to help you out. You might just I might just pick some of the ones you might have talked about. So in a way, you're getting to go through some of it. So
very true. But I was going to start. Actually, my original plan was to start out with Warner Archive. So I guess I'll just pick out a Warner Archive release. Now this is, I don't know if we wanted to stick with movies. I guess we could stick with movies. I'm gonna go with one Warner Archive release. It'll be this one. I was gonna go with animation, but that's a specialty of mine. I'm gonna go with High Society.
Okay.
This 4K release is one of the greatest like looking 4K releases I've ever seen for a deep catalog title. Well,
Okay.
somewhat deep catalog title. This movie had only been available on DVD, at least here in the US, for the longest time, and many classic film fans were waiting and waiting for a high definition Blu-ray release. Not only did we get that, but we also got it in 4K. And this thing is unreal in terms of the restoration on it. I think they restored it in like it was like 13.4K or something. It was absurd what they did to make this thing look fantastic. The movie is shot, I believe, shot in CinemaScope. It's not Technicolor, but it's a similar type of CinemaScope. That's what it is. But anywho, looks amazing. The movie stars Bing Crosby, Grace Kelly, and Frank Sinatra. It is the Philadelphia story in musical form. The Philadelphia Story, of course, was adapted into a film from I think around 1940 with Cary Grant, Jimmy Stewart, and Katharine Hepburn. That movie is one of the all-time classics. This movie is not quite as heralded as that film, and it's not quite as good as that film. But just this release in general, I think, looks amazing. And Warner Archive has put out, I think, 3 4Ks now. The Searchers, what's the Get Carter, the one with Michael Caine, and this, I believe, and they all look fantastic. They all look fantastic.
It
So I'm gonna
doesn't
go with
surprise.
High Society.
Doesn't surprise me. At Warner, we always, anytime we talk about Warner Archive, it's that their restorations are fantastic, and so them getting into 4K.
It's nice. It's nice to see them do that.
Well, hopefully it keeps going, but with Warner Brothers going forward, I don't know. That might be
I'll
in
say
danger.
they just announced their February releases today,
Yeah.
so we still have releases for this year so far.
I'll tell you what's been great though, and this is a little bit of a side tangent, but like, I think we're seeing so much activity with Warner Brothers films and boutique labels in general because of what's going on though. I think they're willing to license out because we're seeing the deal with Vinegar Syndrome, with Warner Brothers stuff. We got all these Arrow titles that are all Warner Brothers.
Criterion as well.
Criterion's getting, so I think they're just letting everybody take whatever they want.
They opened up the vaults.
They did. And so that might be one of the benefits of what's going on right now. So I think we got to keep that in mind and take advantage of it while we can. My next one, I think, is a favorite. I think you're going to be picking this one up too. One of the great labels, I think, Second Sight. This is one that was so exciting to see come out.
I was gonna say, which one is it?
This one. Yeah, I knew you.
I have it on next to me as well.
The Nice Guys on 4K. I loved this movie when it came out. Of course, unfortunately, it didn't perform well for some reason. We probably would be seeing a sequel by now if it actually did well. But great film, Shane Black. This release has got some great features on it. There was one with talking with Shane Black about kind of just the process of making this movie and even talking about why it wasn't successful and just I mean it's the deluxe. It's the deluxe of deluxe. Second Sight does. They to me they kind of make the perfect release. Now, is it a little bit pricey? Yeah, it's for sure pricey for one movie. But if there's a movie you really love and they do it, it's going to be the best version of it. So whether it's their, the restorations, the features, and most of the time a hardback book of some kind. So in this case, this hardback book right in here. So yeah, I mean they just do immaculate work. And so yeah, Nice Guys 4K had to be on the list.
Nice pull there. I'm gonna go overseas, and I'm gonna go with an edition that is you could get it here, but you couldn't get it here. It was put on the website, taken off the website, and that's Dogma, the 4K UHD from Umbrella.
I was gonna say, is that last year or is that beginning of this year?
No, that's this year. This just came out.
Well, then why is this on the list? It's 2025.
I mean, this came out in 2025. That's what I should say. Remember when I told you?
Sure, because I would have put Dogma on my list, but I'm pretty sure it was 2026.
No, it's 2025. Yeah, because December 17th, 2025.
Which edition is that?
That's the one from Australia, the Umbrella. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at Blu-ray.com right now. Came
Could have
out in
sworn
December.
I was gonna say I could have sworn I looked it up and it was 2026. But all right,
Take
go
a
ahead.
take a
I believe you.
Okay, you believe me. You cut off my steam there. But anywho, the Kevin Smith movie from 1998. Uh, this movie has had an interesting history on home media. It's been on DVD, it's been on Blu-ray, but it's been out of print for many, many years, because of the state of the Miramax titles and the Weinstein Company, et cetera, et cetera. Basically, Kevin Smith reacquired the rights to his own movie, and now it's back out, not only on Blu-ray and high definition, but also on 4K as well. And it looks fantastic. Like, I haven't seen this movie since it came out on a much older Blu-ray put out by Lionsgate, I think. And this
Yeah,
has a plethora of special features.
Yeah, so the Lionsgate edition 4K came out in December. The Dogma 4K from Australia came out February 2nd.
No, no.
I'm just saying, looking at it right now. there's the US 4K. It came out in December. The 25th anniversary Lionsgate was December 9th, 2025. And then the Australia, the one that we're holding right now, the Australian edition was February 2nd.
Of 2025?
2026.
That's impossible because no way, because we have it out. Like, I bought this a month ago. It's impossible.
Okay.
Yeah, it's literally impossible. Because because everybody's had it already. Unless it got delayed.
There was pre-orders for sure. But I think
But it definitely came out already.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, as I was saying, this has a plethora of special features. Coincidentally, you mentioned that Lionsgate release, which did come out. It has all of the special features from that release, plus a bunch more. That's the reason to get this release, is because it is, because it has all those extra features. It has a couple of features on here that was done by Reverend Entertainment, our friend Justin Beam over there. And it's a really good release. The movie looks better than it's ever looked before. And yeah, it's quite a deluxe release. So that's Dogma.
All right. Yeah, there's like 5 releases of that Dogma on there.
So, yeah, it got released everywhere. That's why. Yeah. So there's a US release put out.
I think I see what I see it now. It's way at the bottom.
Oh, you know what one you're talking about?
I'm talking about the British one.
Yeah, the UK release is
There's
February.
a British one, yeah. That's the one I saw.
Yeah. The UK release
I see it now. I see it now.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that would have been on.
I was like, there's no way.
That would have been on mine for sure, because that was a disc, like you said, you waited forever to get. And
it came out in a couple editions. Like, it had the big old deluxe Umbrella edition, which had all like the extra bells and whistles.
That's what I got.
Stuff.
That's what I got. Yeah.
And then, but it within that edition, this little guy sitting in there. This regular edition's in there. As long as I got the on disc content, which is my most important thing, is what I wanted the most.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's yours? Okay. Your next one.
This one, this was one of the surprise. This is more the movie than it is the release. I mean, the release is great and it looks great. But it does not have a ton of features. All it has is an audio commentary. But the movie was such a cool movie, and I just wanted to represent it on this list. And that's from Fun City Edition, The Lifeguard.
Oh, you son. That was going to be my next one.
Son of a biscuit. Hey, yeah, show the yellow side, and here's the red side.
Yeah. It's back and front. It's like double-sided slipcover.
Yeah. So, yeah, I thought this was, like, I remember when I watched it, like, I think I told you this, that it was like the Sam Elliott version of, like, The Swimmer. Like the type of movie it was, like, very, very meditative. You got this middle-aged man who, like, isn't, he's still kind of like he's a lifeguard on a beach, and he's kind of like hanging out, not really doing anything with his life. And now he's kind of having this crisis, and there's like women still coming after him. And he just like, there's one girl that's like probably just a little too young, he shouldn't be messing around with. And he kind of like decides not to do anything with her, and like kind of holds her at a distance. But she wants to have her sexual awakening with him. And it's like, but it's such a great performance from Sam Elliott. It's one of them things. It's like we see Sam Elliott in so much stuff nowadays. People know the voice, they know the look, the mustache, but he tends to get relegated to like character actor, like to supporting actor. But he had, like a lot of supporting actors and great character actors, every once in a while they did star in things, and and a lot of times they're really great. And in this one, like it really opens your eyes to how great Sam Elliott is and how he can carry a film. Really good film, really good, quintessential, I think, Fun City Editions type of movie. So Lifeguard.
Nice release. I thought you were going to go with one of the other Fun City Edition releases. Fun City had a relatively small year in terms of output last year, but some really, really good releases.
Yeah.
There's the John Sayles film that got released. There's the movie that's starring Robert De Niro.
Was it Baby It's You?
Baby It's You is the John Sayles release. Then there's the one with
Breaking Glass.
Yes. What's the other one with? Falling in Love is the one with Robert De Niro and Meryl Streep.
I still haven't watched it yet. So.
Okay. Yeah, those two. Yeah, then they had Lifeguard, and they also had this movie. I guess I'll since you took Lifeguard, I was going to talk about Lifeguard. I'll talk about Racing with the Moon, which is a movie starring Sean Penn, Nicolas Cage, and what's her name? Is it Elizabeth Montgomery? Not Elizabeth Montgomery. I should it is Elizabeth McGovern from Downton Abbey fame. Anywho, this movie from the early 1980s, directed by Richard Benjamin, super underrated movie. I had never heard of it until I had to watch it for Chasing Labels. Yeah, it came out in 1984. There's an audio commentary on here by the director. There's an audio commentary by Bill Ackerman and Mariah Gates. There's a making of on here as well. And the movie is like a kind of it's a coming of age film around these three characters who are like small town United States set during World War II, like right in the middle of World War II. And it's right before both the Nicolas Cage character and the Sean Penn character are going to enlist in the Marines to serve in World War II, I believe. And it's just all about these kind of teenage angsty exploits. There's a romance going on between Elizabeth McGovern and the Sean Penn character, but they're like from two different sides of the track, if you will, a little almost kind of like a Romeo and Juliet situation going on there. Or at least that's the perception that Sean Penn has of the Elizabeth McGovern character. And yeah, it's very, very, very good. Like, super underrated, I think. So I would definitely recommend this movie. Just watch this movie, just in general, to people. And that's Racing with the Moon.
Yeah, I had that on DVD for so long. I think I got it at like a discount store somewhere in some bin, and I was like, oh, cool, Sean Penn, Nicolas Cage. And I just had it for so long, and now out of nowhere, then Fun City was like, cha-ching, upgrade.
That's the thing. They just pull out
random
movies from yesteryear that you never even
I love it.
thought of.
Well, this one wasn't from yesteryear. This one's pretty recent, and we actually got to talk to this director about his movie. That's Mr. Sean Baker's Anora.
Yeah, I took it out too.
We talked to Sean earlier last year about this, and of course Prince of Broadway, that both came out. Prince of Broadway was great as well, but there was something about this release, and I think because it is a newer film, that you got such great features on this, like to the point of like, here's the day-to-day. Like there's a feature in here that's like really just takes you through the behind the scenes.
It's like over an hour long of just all B-roll stuff of the making of the movie. There's an incredibly long interview with Mikey Madison in this as well.
Yeah,
These are all new special features too.
Oh, of course, yeah. And what I think, because Sean's a physical media guy himself, he knows what people are looking for. And I think that particular feature with Mikey Madison, they really get into like the character and like intention and like things like that, the kind of stuff you really want to hear about when you hear an actor talk about their character. Like I love it. And just like talking about like some of the symbolism and things like that in the film, like that's the stuff I want to hear.
Yeah,
So
there's 2 audio commentaries on here as well. What's crazy is I think at the time when we first watched, I told you this was going to be one of the best releases of the year, especially for something from Criterion, new film at the time. It was, had just won the Oscar, what, a month
yeah,
before this thing came out,
yeah,
pretty much. And for a new film with new special features plus a plethora of them,
yeah,
kind of a little bit of a unique thing for Criterion, because when you think Criterion, you think older, more catalog stuff,
yeah.
you know, things like that. But yeah, definitely was on my list as well. Moving on, let me see, where are we? I'm losing track. So I want to make sure I don't skip anything. But I guess I'll go a little bit, because I think one of the studios that had one of the best years last year was Arrow Video.
I agree.
Arrow Video put out an elite amount of stuff.
I could have done a 10 of just Arrow releases.
Yeah, I could have done like a top 25. But one that like I've been wanting for so long, yeah, I'll leave that there. Is The Mask. The Jim Carrey film The Mask. The Blu-ray that has been available for many, many years, I think came out in I want to say the late 2000s, so it had been around forever. And late 2000s Blu-ray and modern day Blu-ray do not look the same, let alone modern day 4K and 2000s Blu-ray look light years different if you do it right. And The Mask and Arrow Video did it right. Not only did they do it right, but we also got a plethora of special features, which the old Blu-ray really did not have at all. Like all kinds of interview with like everybody involved in the making of. Obviously not Jim Carrey. I'm pretty sure Jim Carrey doesn't like to talk about his old movies that much. He really doesn't. But this had so many interviews, so many like behind the scenes making of stuff about the movie and the undertaking of it. And I didn't know so much about it. I didn't know that essentially this version of the movie is not the version of the movie I think that the director originally wanted. There's so much about this movie that's so fascinating to me. But yeah, this is incredible release. It looks amazing too. Like in terms of restoration and remastering, it looks fantastic. And yeah, I don't know. Last year was an interesting year just in general for like 90s and older comedies to get 4K releases, and a lot of them turned out really, really well. I think this was kind of tops among them. A favorite from my childhood.
For sure. For sure. I will stick with that theme of Arrow and bring out another one I think we're both very happy about. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles trilogy box set came out right at the tail end of the year, and I think it got announced halfway through the year because they knew.
Yeah, like September they announced this thing.
Yeah, that the anticipation for this was going to be big, and yeah, one of my favorite kind of lines to my childhood, is this like, and so getting this on 4K, like I still had my DVD set.
Oh wow, yeah.
So I hadn't even upgraded to Blu-ray because it was one of them things where I watched it so much, and it was just like it's one of them things where it's like something I watched so much as a kid, and I never really thought to upgrade the set I had because I already knew the movies anyway. But then this got announced, and I was like, dude, pre-order right away. And yeah, a lot of fun stuff. Just rewatching the third movie is so fun, and that was always considered to be the bad one.
Oh, it is.
It is. It is. I mean, like the costumes are bad. Like it's not a good movie, but it's still like it's so fun.
Ironically, I mean, you kind of spoiled it now. I guess I can go to this is my favorite release of the year. So this would have been my number one. But
well,
I guess I can gush about it a little bit now. But yeah, similar to what Steven said, highly anticipated release for me because we had gotten a Blu-ray. Those Blu-rays that we had gotten previous to this came out in 2009, I believe. Okay, that was for the 25th anniversary of the release of the original comic book from 1984. That's what that was. And those have been kicking around for, like I said, since 2009. And they didn't look good in 2009. So just to get an upgrade just visually from that, but also nothing really in the way of special features for those releases. This has like all kinds of new interviews that were done with the people, the making of the movie, and some of the actors like Ernie Reyes Jr. And you get a interview with Judith Hogue. You get an interview with so many people involved in the making of this. Lot of talking here about the Jim Henson Creature Shop that did
Yeah.
like the suits and the puppetry for at least the first two films. And yeah, just so much about the making of specifically that first movie, which came out in 1990. So it was the 35th anniversary of that movie coming out. A lot of great little things in here. Just great packaging all
Oh,
around.
yeah.
A little specialties in here as well. A lot of it was actually designed by our friend Scott Saslow, who did a couple of the designs for like the pizza punch card thing
Yeah.
for the pizzeria that was featured in the second movie, and a lot of the designs of these little like almost collector cards that are in here as well. But yeah, this is my favorite release just because of the anticipation for it, and these movies are so near and dear to my heart, especially that first movie. I know every line from that movie. I used to
Wow.
like act out that movie as a young like 4-year-old in the early 90s.
Well, who's your favorite turtle?
Raphael,
Okay.
which I guess is maybe not the most popular pick because he
No,
always has the bad attitude and he's always getting fights.
he's the most teenager out of all of them.
Yeah, he's got the most anger. He's headstrong, anger, makes bad decisions,
between him and
immature.
between
You
him
know,
and Michelangelo, they're the most teenager of the
if
group.
anything, they're the opposites of each other in terms of just like attitude
Well,
and
I'm just saying in the sense of being immature.
yeah, yeah. One's immature
Teenagers.
in a kiddish kind of way.
Yeah, yeah,
One's immature in like I think I know everything kind of way.
exactly. Yeah,
But yeah, yeah.
I was always partial to Donatello for some reason.
Oh yeah, he's kind of like my second
He,
favorite.
he, he you know, I was always like the staff as the weapon, and I like purple, and I was like, and he just has that kind of like he was always one of the funnier ones.
He's tech savvy too, so he's
Yeah,
kind of
and
like
then
ahead of the curve.
in the
He's the
movies,
brains of the outfit.
and he was in the movies, he was always the one that had like the bad joke. Like it would be like they'd be all saying like the different words, and he'd be like
Yeah,
Paris,
acapella.
Perestroika?
Yeah,
What?
Chevy
Farah,
Nova.
Farashaka?
Yeah,
Yeah,
pork
yeah,
rind, pork
Pork
rind.
Ryan. Yeah.
No, I
So
could do
yeah,
that whole movie, man. Oh,
yeah, I love it.
rewatching it, like I was like every line I could say it before it even happened.
I feel like
Um,
we should do. It'd be fun to do a watch along
that
for.
yeah, that's a fun one, man.
Yeah,
That first movie is so I think so good. But anywho,
it is.
let me move on
Before
to
we move in,
yeah.
Josie showed up in the chat saying hello, happy New Year. Some of her favorite first time watches of 2025 into 2026. We have Paper House from 1988, Don't Play Us Cheap from 73, Chinese Ghost Story 1 and 2 from 87 and 90, and Reckless Natives from 85.
She also
Um,
watched Bill Plimpton's The Toon. Bill Plimpton
yeah.
made the craziest animation you've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
All of it's being released by Deaf Crocodile.
Yeah. Yep. I need to get in. I need to get that stuff. I've been wanting
Yeah,
to get that stuff.
it's starting to get not that it's not tough to find, but if you want like the limited edition of those, like the slipcover, like
Yeah.
those are kind of tough to get. But yeah,
All right.
Deaf Crocodile puts out a lot. They just announced they just made some deal. Anywho, that's a tangent. I'm not gonna go
Yeah,
on
yeah,
that.
yeah,
But
yeah.
anywho,
It's your
they're doing
turn,
a lot
sir.
of work. But let me stick with Arrow, and I want to go with these were some of the hottest releases. These things sold out instantly. I've never been in a fight before, but man, I was fighting for these. And that's the Man with No Name trilogy.
Yeah.
Got 4K releases from Arrow. Now these are some of the most re-released movies you've ever seen.
Yeah.
You would not believe these things have gotten.
That's what's so funny about this is that they've already been put out on 4K,
Oh
and
yeah,
it's like,
I've owned these.
oh yeah,
over and
this is
over.
no problem. Yeah, we'll get these easily. Nope.
No, you have to like claw your way and gouge people's eyes out on the internet just to get these.
Yep.
But they put out in like sequential order, a fistful of dollars for a few dollars more, and of course, the one everybody seems to know and love the most is The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and these all look amazing. Like
Yes.
these are some of the most astonishing looking 4Ks of the year, in my opinion. That's the one thing with Arrow. Predominantly, their encoding, the way they put things on their disc, their restorations, all that stuff looks really, really good when it comes to catalog titles for the most part. But yeah, these I think these all got like four disc sets, plethora of special features,
and, and,
super deluxe. I
and
mean,
they
if you
have
don't own these movies yet, these are probably the way to go. You can still find the standard edition of these, which will get you, I guess, all the on disc content. But these more like limited editions, I think, are long gone by
oh,
this
they're
point.
gone. They're gone. And
Um,
they got Tony Stella on speed dial for most of their releases, so you get the great artwork.
yes, yeah,
You know,
that is. They do have great Tony Stella artwork. Um, that's kind of why I'm also waiting for them to do the Hong Kong films. They're slowly putting those out now.
yeah.
But yeah, these were some of, like I said, the most sought after releases of last year. And so I'm glad I got them all, and they all look, like I said, fantastic. But like Kino's put these out, like the regular studios put these out, both on Blu-ray and 4K. Yeah, there's just so many of them. There's
Yeah.
so many releases of these movies. But what's your next one?
Let's see what I can get out of the little Santa Claus bag here. Let's go. All right, so here's this is the only studio one I got. And this was another one that I think people just were like, had a fervor to finally get. Now, I was a little disappointed because I'm not much of a Steelbook guy, but that's really all this came out on. But I had to get it. And that's David Fincher's Panic Room.
Nice. Yeah, I got that too.
Yeah. I like I said, I'm really hoping for like a normal release, but to have to wait longer for that, I was like, fuck it. You know, it's like, I will go ahead and get this Steelbook Panic Room. And it looks great. 3 discs. I mean, I love this. This is I think one of Fincher's underrated films. You know, you had a young Kristen Stewart, and then Jodie Foster playing her mother, and they get their house gets broken into. They're in a panic room for the home. It's a great contained thriller. I don't think anybody can do that type of movie as well as somebody like Fincher, who's got such an attention to detail. What is it? Jared Leto's also in it as well.
Lawrence Fishburne.
Lawrence
I believe, is in it as
Fishburne.
well.
Great
Or no,
cast.
it's no, I think it's Forrest Whitaker.
Forrest Whitaker. That's right.
Yeah, my
right.
bad.
Yeah. Love
that
release.
movie was the only David Fincher film that did not have a high definition release at all.
Other than his Netflix stuff.
Right, which doesn't have a release at all, let
anything.
alone
Yeah,
nothing.
yeah.
But up until now, that was like one of his only catalog releases, you could say. But yeah, that took so many years. It was promised years ago. They were going to put that out in 4K, and they were going to put The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo out in 4K around the same time, and it just never happened. And they still haven't put The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo out on 4K, I don't think.
The David Fincher version of that, it sucks. I think every once in a while I think about it, like if we could have gotten the sequels. Like
that's what pisses me off about it the most, is that there should have been more, and there was supposed to be more.
Yeah,
and it just never did. It just never happened.
The thing is I know David Fincher's known for being kind of difficult. He's he wants the control, and I think some of that probably clashed.
I also think it was going to be like too expensive for the studio to invest in or something.
Because
like that.
I don't think that because the first movie wasn't like super uber like successful. It did. I think it still made its money. But it's just such a great movie. I love the movie and the style and I was really hoping for these two characters to come back together in a movie, but that's beyond it. Panic Room's great release, and I don't know if it's still available out there, but I'm sure it's going to make its way around.
Yeah, you can definitely still find it. Ironically, I think I saw that Orbit DVD just got like a restock of it recently, so it's still available, as well as Seven. Seven also got a 4K release as well earlier in the year.
Yeah.
What number are we up to now? Just so
I don't even care about number. I'm just waiting. I guess you're still good. You still got like a few more releases. I'll let you know when we're at number 1.
I guess I'll go with the Criterion, because you mentioned the Criterion already. I'll mention one. Sorcerer. William Friedkin's Sorcerer. The reason why I'm mentioning this one came out, I think this came out back in May of 2025. This looks amazing. This is one of the best upgraded catalog titles of the year, in my opinion. It's a stunning looking 4K restoration. Like, this movie's never looked more amazing. The sound is incredible. This movie is incredible. Talk about a movie that's gotten a massive reappraisal over the last several decades is Sorcerer. When this movie came out, it was an absolute like flop
Yeah.
and kind of like heavily hindered William Friedkin's career. Kind of killed it for that moment in time. But now it's considered one of his best and a classic from the 1970s, and it still holds up so well. Starring Roy Scheider and just a fantastic movie. And like I said, this movie looks amazing on this 4K from Criterion.
Awesome. I'm gonna go to one of my favorite companies, Severin. I
Ooh.
didn't get a ton from them this last year, and that's just monetary, wise. I it's can't afford all the great box sets they put out. I want them all, but this particular film, I chose this one because the movie stood out in my mind, and it did get, I think, also a Radiance release. But this movie stood out in my mind, and I just, it's such a kind of haunting film, disturbing movie. In My Skin. And I love this, this kind of sideways release of it like this. But what a haunting film of somebody that's slowly starts eating them themselves. It's disturbing. It, of course, the thing that people were comparing it to something like Raw, which is a movie I love as well. And it's a beautiful looking movie, very powerful. Of course, as Severin always does, a lot of great features on it. Kayla Janice does an introduction and talks about, I think this is obviously in her wheelhouse because of the House of Psychotic Women stuff that she does. Multiple commentaries on here. Yeah. I mean, nobody does weird body horror stuff like this, like the French, right? So,
very true.
But yeah, it's a really interesting film and one that stuck with me through the year. So, yeah, like I said, Radiance put out a release as well, but this one, arguably superior. So,
Yeah, well, it's interesting that those releases were announced so close to one another. I ended up having
yeah,
to talk about that movie twice. but but speaking of Radiance, I'd have to mention Radiance just because
all
of
of it.
the sheer output of their
Yeah,
stuff is like clockwork every month. I say it here on Chasing Labels all the time. I talk about them every month. I'll be talking about them again on the upcoming episode because they've already had their announcements. But yeah, I didn't. There's a couple of their releases I have not gotten yet, but I want to mention at least one of them, and that is the box set of the Dai Gothic Volume 2 box set. Now, these are Japanese ghost stories from the 1960s, although I think through 1970s. So in that range. Their first box set was a little bit earlier. It was like late 50s and into the 60s. So I guess this is 60s into around the 1970 range. But yeah, this has three films: as Demon of Mount Oi, The Haunted Castle, and Ghost of Kasani Swamp.
yeah.
And yeah, talk about doing great box sets, or at least doing box sets consistently. Radiance is one of those companies. They do a lot of great box sets. Um, yeah, these are just really really good. Yeah, they put out a bunch of really nice releases this year.
Dude,
Uh,
it's the one label that I get so jealous that I can't buy them. Like, I don't have the ability.
as much as you want to.
No, I like every once in a while I can get something, and typically it's the noir stuff
Hmm.
and some of the box sets. Like I have that one, but it's like I get so upset that I can't buy them. I can't
Yeah, they
afford
had the
them.
World Noir Volume 3 and Volume 4, I think, came out last
I still
year.
got to get volume 4, but I got volume 3.
Of course, they had their 4K release of Night of the Juggler,
Yeah.
and they had their 4K release
Well,
of.
that's the sub. They did introduce a sub label,
Oh yeah,
Transmission.
that's their sub labels. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I keep forgetting about those things. Now, they had there was another movie they had that was a 4K, and of course I can't find it now. But anywho, um, yeah, they're starting to get into the 4K game a little bit, and I'm kind of excited about that because
Yeah.
their releases are very very good.
Yes, of course. All right.
Find their movies.
Back to Arrow. um, this was a discovery for me. Miss 45, a revenge film. Brutal movie. But just like the female revenge kind of genre, that's one of my kind of I love that genre. You know, stuff like what's the Kroll story? What's the name of that movie? I'm blanking on it right now.
Which genre are you talking about?
It's a
Okay, yeah.
you know what a movie, the one with the eye patch. I'm blanking on the name
Oh
of
yeah,
it.
yeah, it is Cruel Story.
The Kroll story. Yeah, that's right. Similarly to that, this is kind of that same kind of revenge, female revenge story, and I love it. I mean, it's just a discovery. I know I'm like, this is one I feel like a lot of people had seen, and I was like out of the loop on. But yeah, really great release. Some great features on here, some short films, and just I just did one of the discoveries I had to put on this list. So
I'm actually trying to look up that movie that you're talking about. It's the Swedish film.
yeah, the Swedish film. Can I see it from here on my shelf?
Thriller, A Cruel Picture.
The Thriller, A Cruel Picture.
That's what it is. Yeah.
My mind's going, man. My mind's going.
Oh yeah, yeah, my mind's completely gone. But let me see, what am I gonna pick next? Let me get into. Let me see, because you talked a little bit about Sean Baker earlier, so I guess I'll talk about this release. This is another massive release. And this is his film, The Florida Project.
Yes.
I think it's like a 10-year anniversary release by this point.
Yeah.
When did this come out?
We had to wait. We had to wait so long for this because we had heard about this release coming like the first time we talked to Sean Baker
back in like what was that 2022?
Like 3 years ago.
Yes,
at this point. Yeah,
this took several years in the making.
Yeah,
and kind of well worth the wait because of how massive and deluxe this is. And this is, of course, his indie hit, The Florida Project, which came out. Oh my goodness, I want to say 10 years ago. Of course, I wish I could type better with one. Yeah, 2017. So pretty close to 10 years ago. And yeah, this is a movie that, like I said, an indie hit. But I guess you could say that all of Sean Baker's movies are indie films.
They're all indie. Yeah, that's his wheelhouse.
A couple of years ago, they put out his movie Tangerine, another indie hit of his, on Blu-ray, and then they followed up now with The Florida Project. Who knows what could be coming next? Red Rocket, perhaps? Who knows?
I hope so.
But yeah, another massive release from Second Sight. Super thick hardcover book in here. Plenty of special features, and this is an interesting, low-key indie film shot in Florida, right outside of Disney, at a very colorful motel, and it's all centered around this young woman who is a single mother, and her basically just trying to survive any way she can. Pretty much. Don't want to give anything else away, but there's not really a lot of plot going on in the movie. It's really actually more focused on the children and how they're impacted by their circumstances of life and whatnot. Willem Dafoe is in this movie. If you need a big headliner, he's in this movie. He was nominated for all kinds of awards during that award season for this movie. As you can see here, great cover art, thick edition, really one of Second Sight's best.
For sure. All right. To me, I guess this would be my favorite box set of the year because this is my number 2, my second to last release here. So this is my box set of the year. This also got a box set from Curzon Films, and that is the big old Michael Haneke set from Umbrella. Yeah. Just as somebody that wanted to get into a filmmaker, this was the perfect set to get. Now, I know it doesn't have everything, but it basically has everything. And yeah, I still need to jump into this set. But this will be very fun for me when I finally do. And just like, kind of similar to Second Sight, they got a hardback book in here. They kind of have that Hitchcock set style slips. I know you're not a huge fan of that, but they're in there. And yeah, if you're wanting to get into a filmmaker, this is almost a very much an encapsulation of a whole person's career. So awesome.
Nice, nice. Yeah, like you said, it's not all of his movies,
Yeah.
but it's quite comprehensive
I
in
mean, I
terms
think
of
the Curzon set technically, didn't that one have like the one movie, like a more
yeah, it
recent
had like
film?
we think it had may have had his remake of Funny Games.
That's what's missing is the
Yeah,
remake of Funny Games, is in that set, not in this set. And but I would say that probably the contrast is that the features in this one might be a little bit more robust. I'd have to look at it, but I know I looked at both and I found the Umbrella version to be more appealing. So, um, and of course that Curzon set is huge. You know, it's not really shelf
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 friendly.
friendly. Yeah, it's huge. So, um, but I just alone on just anytime somebody comes, one of these companies come out with a set that's basically a compendium of somebody's career, it's high on my list. So, yep.
Nice.
All right.
So am I at my 2?
I sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I started. So yeah.
Okay, so I'll go with another criterion. I mean, I can go with so many criterions. You mentioned Eyes Wide Shut earlier, which I had on my list anyway. So I'll substitute that out for Barry Lyndon,
Mm.
another Kubrickian film that was awaited so long to get a Criterion release. People have been waiting for this and speculating that this was going to get a Criterion release for so many years now. Just every single time anybody would be like, "Hey, what do you think the next Criterion release is going to be?" Barry Lyndon was on every single one of those polls. And this is the classic 1975 historical epic, 185 minutes long, so 3 hours, and this movie's notorious for its massive opulent production. Scenes were shot in natural lighting using candlelight. Kubrick doing his Kubrickian stuff. Um, yeah, the movie starring Ryan O'Neal takes place in, I think, the 18th century, like around that time. And yeah, it's just a massive, massive historical picture from Stanley Kubrick. Stunningly beautiful movie. Like, just the cinematography in this is stuff you study in film school. It's really unbelievable. It's one of those ones where, like, you'll see a picture or you'll see somebody will put up a montage of images or video of a montage of images from this movie to be like, nobody shoots movies like this anymore. And it's like, it's a Kubrick movie from the 70s. No one was shooting them then,
Yeah.
maybe Terrence Malick. It's like I saw somebody say that again, and they're showing pictures and they're showing video of Days of Heaven, and it's like, yeah, it's one of the most gorgeous movies ever made. No movie looks like this. No movie looks like Barry Lyndon either. But like I said, this was awaited many many years to get a Criterion release and get a 4K release, more specifically a 4K release, and yeah, it's the closest movie I think Kubrick got to making his Napoleon movie that we ever saw. Um, yeah, so that's Barry Lyndon.
Awesome. Yep. On the list, as I talked about earlier, I haven't even seen that movie, so I can't even say that I didn't like that movie, but it'll be on my journey. All right. So my number one release of last year, 2025, and Andrew, surprised because you brought this up and you were like, Steven, you gotta talk about that movie. You own it now.
Mm,
And you didn't know that I'd already chosen it as my number one of the year.
nice. I did just mention it.
Night of the Juggler from Transmission/Radiance. Yeah. So first of all, this movie is awesome.
It's very, very good.
James Brolin, Josh Brolin's father, just looking so badass. He's one of them guys that you just look at him and you're like, yeah,
He's a man's man.
He's a man. He's drinking beer in the morning, in the shower, that kind of thing. But he plays a cop, an ex-cop whose daughter gets kind of accidentally kidnapped. Made me think about High and Low a little bit. It's kind of a High and Low situation in a way, but except an action movie. If High and Low met Die Hard 3, that's this movie.
Nice.
Because to me, that was the thing that's I think the coolest thing about this movie is New York. You really like go into the nitty gritty of New York in this movie. You see all the different levels. And when I think it made me just, and I think the highlight, the big chase scene, one of the great chase scenes I think I've ever seen in a movie was in this movie. I mean, at the time they were like, fuck, we got to try to up ourselves from the French Connection. Well, it's pretty damn good. It's pretty close. Like, it's not only a car chase, but it's a foot chase. There's in and out of cars, wrecks, and it's great. And yeah, this Night of the Juggler release, not only does it have new features that were made for this release, but also some of the stuff that was made for the Kino release was ported over to this one.
Oh, nice.
So you do have a mixture of, I think some of the interviews are from the Kino release. There's a couple essays that were new for this release, new commentary. And so, yeah, with that, you get this nice hard box, and this is a 4K. And, you talked about Radiance getting into 4Ks. Well, they're doing it through this transmission line. And, you got art cards. You got booklet here. And, yeah, you got the release. This is what you see on the Kino. That's the cover they use for the Kino release, I believe. But, yeah, dude, it's my favorite thing of the year. I love this. It was a discovery movie-wise for me. And Transmission did an amazing job. This was their first release. And now they got stuff like The Stuntman coming out. They got, I think, 2 more, Highway to Hell. So some of these will be discoveries. I've seen The Stuntman.
Oh, I just saw Highway to Hell. I will be talking about it Monday.
Yeah, okay. So they obviously have a vibe about them that I'm loving. And so I'm trying to get an interview with the guy that's leading this, Paul. I can't think of his last name. But we're going to try to talk with him about Transmission. And that'll be a good interview. But yeah, that's my favorite release of last year is Night of the Juggler from Transmission Radiance.
Nice, nicely done. Yeah. Like I said, they have been getting into 4K. I think last year was actually their first year delving into 4K. They also put a couple of movies I didn't mention beforehand were Daughters of Darkness got a 4K release and Palindromes got a 4K release of all movies. That's a fascinating film. It's a fascinating film. It's a Todd Solondz film. So if you know Todd Solondz, you understand why I'm making such embellishments here. But so my number one was a movie we actually already talked about, which is a release we talked about, which of course was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles trilogy put out by Arrow. So I decided to switch that out for the sake of talk about what I think may be the best release of the year, like best with a capital B, and that is Possession by Second Sight, the 4K UHD limited edition release. This is probably one of their thickest ones they've ever released. This, like with Dawn of the Dead, as well as Drive, is some of their heaviest and thickest.
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Texas Chainsaw is another one which I got. And their release of the Hitcher is another one, which was one of my favorites the year it came out. But this release is massive. Just look at that side shot. And this is the Andrei Zulawski film from 1981. And yeah, I can't even describe this movie to people.
It's not even really worth it. All you can really say is, it's a movie about a marriage that's
like the title doesn't even give you a clue into what the movie's about. Sam Neill is in the film, Andrea Arjani is in the film, and they play a married couple, and their marriage is kind of in the dumpster. There's a reason. There's reasons why. It's a backstory. It's a struggle. It's a battle. Relationships are complicated, and this relationship is extra complicated, I would say. And Andrea Arjani is unreal in this film. Just absolutely one of the best performances I've ever seen in a movie ever. I think this movie is a masterwork, just an absolute masterpiece. Getting into more Andrei Zulawski films, his films are very surreal, not for everyone, very avant-garde. So you have to be really in tune with like European surreal cinema from the 1980s. Like you have to get on that level. But this release is just stacked with special features. I believe our friend Alexandra Heller Nicholas does a commentary on here as well. And this is just an elite release. I've waited like all year for this. When this was announced, I think this was announced like last February that it was coming. and it finally arrived, I think, in December. So yeah, this is just a massive deluxe release. It is available in their standard release like they do every single time, so you can get, I guess, the on disc content, but the extras here are just, elite. So that's like what I think is the best release of 2025 in my opinion. But yeah, Steven, I don't know if you want to wrap it up, if you have anything else to add or just to say. There's so many more we could have talked about. Like I said, I
Sure.
brought out stacks of movies that I'm not going to be able to talk about. We didn't talk about
Oh.
Kino. Kino always has an interesting year.
Hey, real quick, run if you can do it without having to talk about every movie for 5 minutes. Run through a few more extras, honorable
Well,
mentions.
I did just mention Kino. Kino had a year where they put out a lot of like catalog comedies out on 4K. Things like Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison,
Yeah.
Coneheads. Who never thought Coneheads would get a 4K release? Who knows?
Well,
Wayne's World 2, Black Sheep. Chris Farley's movie. They put out Sneakers, the film starring Robert Redford and a bunch of other people. That was nice. There was the launch of our friend New
a
Wave Video.
new wave video, John Matthews.
John Matthews, of course, he had his first two releases that came out in
Rubber
Rubber's
Lover.
Lover, and the other one that I can't remember. It's not Noriko's Dinner
Sutton
Table.
Garden. Sutton Garden.
Yeah,
Sutton
it's
Garden.
yeah.
Like,
Anywho, those two are really really good releases, and there's a bunch of new stuff coming as well from them. So I wanted to make sure to give him a shout out because of they do great work over there and whatnot. I know Rubber's Lover is almost selling out actually, which is kind of great to hear.
yeah, it's 95% sold through, and I
Yeah,
think
I
really
just
the
picked up
rest of
my
what you
copy.
can buy is mostly on their site, I think. So
Yeah, their other release was Strange Circus.
Circus. I don't know
Yeah,
why I
Strange
thought
Circus.
garden.
And yeah, there's a bunch of other things coming up this year as well as starting a sub label already or a side label. So that's really, really cool. What else do I have? Just a bunch of other criterions like Godzilla vs. Biolante. Anytime you can get Godzilla on 4K, that's the goods. One of the best upgrades I think of the year is
Oh yeah,
Cronenberg's
it's great.
History of Violence. Another good upgrade is Carnal Knowledge. Carnal Knowledge got two releases. Got one
That,
from Indicator, which we didn't really talk about,
didn't that
and got
need
one
a
from Criterion.
didn't that need a replacement disc?
There is an issue here where if you have the first printing, which of course I do, damn it,
I was
there
gonna
is
say,
an,
don't you need to get it replaced?
there is an instance. I forgot what minute mark it is, but there's supposed to be like a white flash transition. I think it is,
Yeah,
and it's missing. I guess on the first printing. I don't know how that's possible, but Indicator had some releases this year, specifically
they
the
they
Iron
really
Rose.
they released Carnal Knowledge.
Yeah, and they released Carnal Knowledge as well as another genre long film I want to mention, The Iron Rose. And they released their was it Columbia Noir #7, which was
Yeah,
British Noir. That
yep.
was kind of their big box set of the year. But yeah, there's so many other things that I don't think I need to mention. But one more I do have to mention. He Who Gets Slapped. This is a 1924 silent film put out by Flicker Alley. This is their store exclusive slipcover, which is now sold out. Didn't think that was going to happen, so I had to go on eBay to get it. But yeah, this is anytime you can get kind of a somewhat not long lost, but just any silent film on Blu-ray is nice. They put out like a Laurel and Hardy box set this year. They put out another double feature silent film release as well, which is really really good. They put out a Weimar Republic comedies, which are German comedies from the 1930s. Which is who puts that out? Let's be real. I do, of course, Eureka. Eureka put out a bunch of stuff this year. One that I got is this box set of Rack and Ruin the Rubble film at DEFA. These are post World War II East German films.
Mm,
Uh, yeah, so it's like who's putting that out? No one
no
other
one.
than Eureka.
Yeah,
And they put out like three of these kind of post World War II German film box sets um, from both West Germany as well as East Germany, and just interesting cultural films that were made at the time for specific reasons. So I thought I would highlight that. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it. Reanimator got a second site release. Reanimator's back out. That's another
yeah.
nice one. And yeah, I think that's about it for me. I could
Okay,
go on forever, but
we could, but
I don't want to be here forever.
no, we don't. All right. Well, that is it for our little rundowns of our favorite releases of 2025. We hope you enjoyed. Please leave a comment some of your favorite releases from last year. Let us know. Let us know what you liked, so we can. If we missed something, please let us know. But that's that. We can now leave 2025 behind us a little bit, and now just look ahead to building up our collections even more in 2026. And doing this again next year. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do that. Of course, if you're not watching it, you can go and listen to this particular video and all our other stuff on the audio feed on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. You got Chasing Labels coming up. We got another Movies Down Memory Lane coming up, and the Unwatched Pile. So and movies and movie mutations. So watch out for all that stuff, and let's get this new year going, man. All right. Anything else, Andrew?
No, that is it. Also, there will be Criterion reviews coming up for a couple of Criterion releases for this month already.
Yep, that'll be tomorrow. You can get that tomorrow or Friday. You'll see it. So, but that is it, guys, and keep on watching the movies.
I know I will.